Nobody could predict that this dude would be sitting on trial for his life. It just wasn't in the cards.
That's the one. I think that we just got caught up. I think we all got caught up in a moment. We was talking about it and having secret.
The FBI didn't just leak a name or two, they dropped a full roster. We're talking A-list celebrities, billion-dollar brands, pop culture icons all on that list. And now, they're disappearing. Some have already fled, others are hiding out in Dubai and Switzerland, and handlers are booking flights to West Africa like it's the apocalypse. The moment word got out that Diddy's release was no longer a question of if, but when Hollywood hit the panic button. Private jets took off. From Van Nuys and Teterboro under the cover of night. The energy was clear. Get out while you still can. PR teams stopped drafting statements. Burner phones lit up, and stories started vanishing from social.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I...
Social media. Some people are deleting their digital footprints. Others are cutting ties. And a few are reportedly wiping their entire identities. This isn't a Netflix thriller. This isn't a metaphor. This is a real-life purge. It's already in motion. And this isn't just about panic, it's about guilt, fear, regret, and pure survival instinct. Because whether you were deep in Diddy's inner circle or just a background player sipping champagne a few degrees away, his presence was everywhere. For decades, his shadow stretched across the music industry, fashion, film, and beyond. And now, that shadow is growing darker and wider. With the trial ending in a...
Also, too, his sons are actually involved in the music industry, to which before he was arrested, his son made a rap song really questioning the federal government, really questioning potential witnesses to go forward against his father. So when you tie all those things together, you look at the social media dynamic, the social currency.
Split verdict and Diddy's release on bail looming. Whispers say he's not staying silent, he's preparing for war. Insiders claim he's been reviewing old footage. Going through archives, pulling out names, revisiting conversations. Word is, Diddy's got receipts, real receipts. Talking videotapes, handwritten notes, private messages, even anonymous testimonies collected by investigators he kept on retainer for years. People aren't just fleeing legal heat, they're running from him. The same man they once toasted in VIP sections and called brother is now the one holding the matches and the gasoline. Hollywood isn't just distancing itself to protect reputations, it's bracing for impact. Because if Diddy decides to start talking or...
That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone.
Worse, showing the fallout won't just burn bridges. It'll blow up entire empires. We've now confirmed that the FBI leak includes some serious shockers' household names. And the industry is spiraling. Jay-Z, not just lounging in the south of France, sipping wine. According to one insider, he's positioning himself for possible negotiations if Diddy starts naming names. Word is, he's already assembling legal firepower, just in case. Then there's Jennifer Lopez. Sources say she made a private trip to a low-key spiritual retreat in Mexico, spotted near an off-the-grid compound in Oaxaca. Officially, it's a personal wellness journey. Unofficially, it looks a lot like damage control. Usher's another name, raising eyebrows. One day he's headlining in Las Vegas. The next gone, his team says it's just a scheduled break, but insiders whisper it's a tactical retreat, a quiet exit before things explode. And then there's Justin Bieber, the biggest mystery of all. No social media posts. No paparazzi sightings. No interviews. Total radio silence. His publicist hasn't issued a single statement, but a blurry photo just surfaced allegedly showing Bieber boarding a private jet in Vancouver. Destination, unknown explanation. The silence is getting louder, and it's making everyone nervous. What are they so afraid of? What exactly does Diddy have on these celebrities? Or maybe the real question is, what did they witness, enable, or stay silent about when no cameras were rolling? Because now the buzz isn't just about the trial anymore. It's about what insiders are calling the revenge list, a personal dossier Diddy's allegedly been building since the late 2000s. A record of betrayals, quiet exits, public disavowals, and whispered names fed to prosecutors. One former assistant even recalled Diddy saying, "A man who forgets who ran when the bullets flew deserves to meet me again when I'm holding the gun." Maybe he meant it metaphorically, but the chill in that line is unmistakable. Now that he's got time, resources, and motive, that so-called list might not stay metaphorical for long. People forget this wasn't just about wild parties and velvet ropes. These were controlled environments, elaborate curated productions. Witnesses describe initiations, whisper-only rules, blacked-out phones, secret rooms, and yet, many kept coming back. Why? Fame, power, access, leverage, and that's where it starts to unravel. You can see it guys like Justin Bieber, struggling with the weight of what they saw, what they almost became, what they might never unsee. Terrence Howard was the first to break ranks. Months ago, on a podcast he told a story that sounded like a fever dream, man, till you realize it lines up with everything. He described being invited by Diddy for acting lessons, but when he showed up, there was no script, no rehearsal, just Diddy, staring, silent, like it was all a test. When Terrence didn't take the bait, the invite stopped, and now he's naming names, warning men who give up their man card at these parties. His words weren't random, they were coded warnings. Once you cross that line, he says, you don't come back the same. And it's not just men. Multiple sources claim women paid a different kind of price. Some with silence, others with autonomy. Some allegedly traded their innocence for status, roles, or protection. As Terrence put it, they have their Oscar, their money, but they don't have the soul they started with. No names needed because the silence says it all. Real men, he says, don't accept what boys do, and when you violate a real man's boundaries, you get a real reaction back. That's not just philosophy. That's a call-out. Even Ray J, yes, that Ray J, dropped a bombshell in a recent documentary. He claims celebrities are now scrambling behind the scenes, reaching out to alleged victims, trying to buy silence before subpoenas start flying. He didn't name names. He didn't need to. The implication was loud. The biggest names in music and Hollywood are terrified of what could come out next. One investigator claimed Diddy's homes were rigged with hidden cameras inside mirrors, speakers, even light fixtures. If true, those recordings aren't just damaging, they're nuclear. Cat Williams warned us too. On his now infamous podcast rant, he said 2024 would be the year all the deviants catch hell. He claimed he turned down $50 million for Times just to avoid Diddy's parties. He wants to party with you, Cat said, and you have to tell him no. At the time, people laughed. Now it sounds like prophecy. Even Usher, who once lived with Diddy as a teenager, has backed off. When asked if he'd send his own kids to Puffy's house, his answer was fast. Hell no. That clip's gone viral. It's not entertainment anymore, it's a breadcrumb trail. And then there's Bieber. Behind the fame and carefully filtered photos, insiders say Diddy's interest in mentoring him bordered on obsessive. Private performances, luxury trips, mentorships, but no women, no peers. Just isolation. Suge Knight, of all people, on record to say Bieber could have been bigger than Michael Jackson, if not for what was allowed to happen. No one wants to say what that means out loud, but they don't have to. The silence is loud enough. This isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's about a pattern, a machine, a system where glamour was bait and silence was currency. And those who took the deal, those who walked into the mansion and left with secrets instead of scripts, they're finding out the reckoning isn't just coming, it's already here. This isn't hypothetical anymore. It's unfolding in real time. As the music dies down and the lawsuits pile up, Hollywood's elite are facing a horrifying realization. Maybe the empire they helped glamorize wasn't built on beats and brilliance but on rituals. And now, the walls are closing in. Some are running, some are bargaining. And a quiet few are crawling back to kneel. Because the revenge list everyone once mocked as rumor, it's real. And worse, it's active, and according to insiders, it's a lot longer than anyone expected. These weren't just parties. According to one former bodyguard, they were battlegrounds. Diddy's infamous freak-offs behind velvet gates in LA and Miami were far more than just champagne and celebrity selfies. Guests arrived expecting exclusivity, chefs, vintage wine, elipsters, but by morning, some were left dazed, broken, and with secrets they'd carry for years. Guest lists seized during the federal raids in March reportedly didn't just include names. They were warnings, singers, actors, models, even billionaires. And now that Diddy's release is just around the corner, those names are being guarded like nuclear codes. Sources claim these events weren't only staged, they were recorded, hidden cameras, allegedly concealed in vents, mirrors, even furniture. Some say it was for leverage, others call it control. But if true, this was never about indulgence, it was infrastructure, a blackmail machine disguised as luxury. It raises a chilling question: was Diddy's power built on loyalty, or extortion? There have long been whispers about a mysterious upstairs room in his LA mansion. Insiders called it the vault. One former employee claimed it was where footage was archived, drives labeled by year, by face, all cataloged. None of it confirmed officially. But when you consider the mass silence, the sudden overseas retreats, the ghosted interviews, it starts to make terrifying sense. You didn't say no to a Diddy invite, one veteran producer told us. You say no, you don't work that year. So, they came. Some stayed 10 minutes, others until sunrise. But the moment they all remember, the shift when the vibe turned cold, that's when the phones vanished. The contracts came out and, yes, multiple sources confirmed that NDAs were signed during the parties. But the paper wasn't what kept them quiet. It was fear. Still, not everyone ran. Some are doubling back, posting throwback photos, offering vague support, calling for due process. Mary J. Blige hasn't been linked to any investigation, yet she posted a photo from 2005 with Diddy. Caption: a broken heart emoji and the word forever. French Montana, Diddy's longtime ally, went on multiple live streams claiming this is all a setup. Are they loyal or just terrified? One of Diddy's former associates replied to our outreach with just 5 words: this town runs on silence. Then there's the bizarre spiral of Terrence Howard. His podcast appearance with Patrick Bet-David cracked something open. He didn't just accuse Diddy of coming on to him, he described a culture where success was the reward for silence, for submission, for selling your soul. Terrence was invited to coach Diddy on acting, but when he arrived, no script, just cold stares and uncomfortable silence. His assistant later said, he's trying to ****KU. And that wasn't the shocking part. The real bombshell was what Terrence said after: when you give up your manhood, I have never seen someone recover from it. And now, all those carefully polished reputations, they're cracking. Celebrities, both men and women, who once soared to fame, are being whispered about in shadows. According to Terrence, they got their Oscars, their millions, but lost their souls. And if you're listening closely, the synchronized silence from Alistair speaks louder than any press release ever could. Initiation rituals, once dismissed as tabloid fantasy, are now being confirmed by former dancers and assistants. Guests allegedly blindfolded, subjected to bizarre tests, some filmed without consent. Others promised cars, roles, record deals if they played along. Those who refused, many never worked again. In some cases, they claimed they were blacklisted. Their careers vanished as fast as their dignity. Then there's Justin Bieber, a fragile figure in all this chaos. Insiders say Diddy's obsession with mentoring him crossed disturbing lines. No women, no peers, just jet-setting, private performances, and eerie silence. Suge Knight even said Bieber could have been bigger than Michael Jackson if not for what was done to him. Think about that. That this wasn't about talent, it was about access. And for those who gave in, those who walked into the lion's den in search of power and came out changed, the reckoning isn't around the corner. It's already here. And Diddy, he may be walking into court, but the real trial, it's happening. Behind the scenes, and the verdicts being written in whispers, NDAs, and private jet logs. So, the behavior's been erratic, sure, but what we're hearing now, it might explain why we haven't heard from certain celebrities in years. Because what if turning down Diddy wasn't just a career move, it was exile? The speculation around Justin Bieber is growing louder by the hour. Those resurfaced clips of him spending 48 hours straight with Diddy as a teenager are getting picked apart like crime scene footage. And yeah, Diddy says in the clip, he's having the time of his life, but whose life was it really? Former label insiders, usually all too happy to brag about their Bieber ties, are suddenly silent. Closed sources say Justin isn't ready to speak publicly, but he might someday. Then came the Suge Knight bombshell, that Bieber was allegedly exploited by grown men early in his career, that he was exposed to things no kid should see. These claims haven't been proven, but they've poured gasoline on a fire that's already burning through the industry's walls. And now, all eyes are on those who looked the other way. Then there's Ally Carter, once dismissed as a conspiracy theorist, now reconsidered with a shiver. She says she was trafficked as a child into Hollywood's elite inner circle, not as a starlet, but as property. That she was brought to Diddy's parties as a pawn in something far darker. She didn't call them parties, she called them satanic ritual orgies. Outrageous, maybe, but in this climate, even half her story would burn the industry to the ground. And now, even her critics are going quiet. Ray J, never one to bite his tongue, may have finally gone to fairer, maybe just far enough. He admitted that multiple celebrities have been reaching out to victims, desperate to pay them off before subpoenas land. I don't even know why I said it, he muttered, but he said it. And in Hollywood, where silence is survival, Ray J broke protocol in a big way. The trial might have delivered a split verdict, but the empire it exposed is splitting at the seams. So what happens now? What happens if Diddy, holding the keys to a vault of secrets, decides to burn the castle down? Does he name names? Does he play the game? Or is the real danger that he doesn't talk at all? Because behind the scenes, insiders say his silence isn't surrender. It's strategy. They're calling it a reset, a dark comeback. Not in spite of the chaos, but because of it. In a world where scandal is currency, Diddy might see himself as the phoenix not fallen, but rising. People forget he built this world. And now, with lawsuits mounting and the countdown to sentencing underway, he's allegedly making calls. Not to apologize, but to remind. He remembers who watched, who clapped, Who benefited? And who might owe him? Some are already whispering that he's assembling his pieces loyalists' favors. Leverage. This isn't about redemption. This is about power. And fear is still a form of power. And if fear is the new fame, then Diddy's already ahead. Some deals are quietly being revived. A few collaborators are crawling back. Music catalogs are being reevaluated. He may be radioactive, but in this era, radioactive gets clicks and influence. Because in today's world, you don't have to be loved, you just have to be feared. And if Diddy can't win hearts, he's betting on controlling minds. Meanwhile, Bieber has been dropping emotional landmines on social media. Fans are worried, and rightly so. In one recent post, he wrote, "People keep telling me to heal. Don't you think if I could fix myself, I would have already?" It wasn't cryptic, it was a scream. And maybe, just maybe, it's connected to everything we're talking about. Because when you've lived through something too big to name, silence becomes your only shield. So now we ask what happens when a man who's lost everything decides he wants it all back. Not the Grammys, not the limos, but the power. The kind of power that makes people tremble when they hear his name. That keeps skeletons buried and secrets locked away. If Diddy's planning war, then this isn't over, not even close. This is just the beginning. That is the countdown to his release ticks away. One thing is undeniable. Hollywood isn't just afraid of what Diddy did, they're terrified of what he knows. So tell me if Diddy really has the receipts. Who's most at risk? And who already slipped away before the storm? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This story is just getting started. Stay sharp, stay curious, and I'll see you on the next one.